The downfall of men isn't that we don't dream, it's that we don't move. Today, I want to get real about why so many of us feel stuck and how small steps can start changing everything. Welcome back to Indomitable with Dom. And I want to talk about something that hits very close to home for me. The state of men right now. Too many of us are stepping back when we should be stepping up. And I don't say that to shame anyone because I've been there myself. A lot of us, it goes back to how we were raised. Some of us didn't have anyone pushing us when we were younger. Others had male role models, but they weren't the right kind of models. And I know for me, I looked at rappers, athletes, movie stars, even porn, trying to figure out what does it mean to be a man. But those weren't real examples. They were actors pretending. It wasn't real. So I grew up with big dreams, but no real blueprint. And instead of those dreams feeling excited, they felt heavy. They felt like a burden. Let me be real with you. Dreams used to scare me. I wanted to clean up my credit, but the thought of calling a creditor and hearing a number that I could not afford to pay made me sick. And I wanted to make more money, but the thought of working overtime drained me before I even clocked in. I knew what needed to be done. I was just scared to do it. And here's where I had to learn a simple but powerful tool: SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, make the target clear, measurable, trackable so you know if it's done, achievable, start with something you can realistically handle, relevant, connected to the bigger dream, and time bound. Put a timeline on it. So for example, don't say, I'm going to fix my credit. Say, by Friday, I'll call one creditor. That's a SMART goal. When I learned this at the company that I'm partnered with, it clicked. Because when you start small, you actually start. And once you start, the momentum builds. So here's the truth. I wasn't confident. I looked confident. I could put that face on. But deep down, I was weak and scared. What changed me wasn't one big transformation. It was small wins stacked over time. I will never forget this one. I had been dodging a phone number for years, convinced it was a debt collector. And one day, I finally built up the courage to answer. And guess what? They weren't even calling for me. They were calling for Kevin. And pause real quick. Kevin, wherever you are out there in the world, you got a debt collector that's out here looking for you. But that little moment gave me the juice. And if I could face that, what else was I running from? So I took the next step. For years, I avoided opening the mail because I assumed that it was just bad news or bills that I couldn't afford to pay. But after answering that phone call, I started opening my mail. And as God is my witness, yes, some of it was bills. A lot of it was bills. But I also started receiving cash, like literal, physical cash in the mail. And then it hit me. How much money had I thrown away over the years because I was too scared to open an envelope? That fear had been robbing me, not just of money, but of opportunities, of peace, and of progress. And here's what I learned. Every time you face one small fear, it unlocks the strength to face another. Answering one phone call led to opening mail, which led to me tackling bigger things. Over the course of 2 years, it was one small win after another small win, and those stacked up into real confidence. As long as you keep starting small, everything will keep feeling small because you're constantly improving on who you were yesterday. Luke 16:10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can be trusted with much. The same applies here. Win the little battles, and God will trust you with bigger ones. 1% better every day doesn't feel like much, but give it a year and you'll look back and you won't even recognize yourself. Men, my brothers, here's the deal. Discipline is freedom. Without it, you stay stuck. Small wins matter. Psychologists have found that even the tiniest wins trigger dopamine, your brain's reward chemical, and it gives you the strength and the fuel to keep going. And your environment matters. Who you're hanging around will either keep you average or push you higher. One of the hardest choices I ever had to make was letting go of people who I once considered brothers. Not because I hated them, but because we weren't headed in the same direction. And I had to face it. Eagles fly with eagles, not pigeons. At the end of the day, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. It's either yours or theirs. Either you keep living the same way and regret it later, or you take the short-term sting now and grow into who you're meant to be. And along the way, you've got to learn to be your own cheerleader. Stop waiting for applause. Celebrate your small wins. Give everything you've got into everything you do. So I want to give you 3 action steps to help rebuilding your discipline system here today. 1, I want you to reverse engineer your dream. I want you to write down that big vision and then break it down into the tiniest possible step. If you want to start a business, don't just jump into the launch. Start with, let me read one article about my industry today. Number 2, be your own cheerleader. Stop waiting for applause. Clap for yourself. Write down the wins, even small ones. Pump yourself up because sometimes no one else will. 3, and this is very important, audit your circle. Look at who you spend the most time with. Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? If it's the latter, make changes, even if it hurts. The downfall of men doesn't have to be the final word. We don't rise by complaining or waiting for someone else to drag us forward. We rise by stacking small wins until we're strong enough for big ones. And hear me, your family is watching, your kids are watching, your community is watching. They don't just need men. They need men who show up. Don't let your dreams stay burdens. Break them down. Do the small thing today. Build your discipline. Because the truth is, the world doesn't just need men. It needs men who can carry weight, lead with love, and set the standard for the next generation. If this spoke to you, share it with the man who needs to hear it. Be on the lookout for my free guide, 7 Steps to Overcome Your Mind, and join a community of people rising above average and stepping into purpose. Until next time, keep growing, keep fighting, and stay indomitable.